Showtime is here, so on with the show. Let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
If something appears too good to be true, maybe it is. We're going to talk Ozempic today. Also, I learned an important lesson, and I'm going to tell you what it is at the park right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Now it's showtime.
All right, it is the Karel Show. I am Karel. So glad you are joining me. My boom is back today because my wireless microphone took a bail on me. So, all righty. From the I've learned my lesson, okay? Yesterday, as you know, I had issues with someone at the park. And I yelled at her that, Melania is a not nice word and all this other stuff. And today, I thought to myself, you know what? This is not the environment that you want to foster when walking your dog. So much like the Clintons, because I think the Clintons taking the high road and going to testify should set a precedent for every other politician. If Bill Clinton's not above it, why is Donald Trump? Why is Elon Musk? Why is anyone in the Epstein files if Bill Clinton can go do it? So I saw her today wearing a MAGA hat. She has never worn a MAGA hat to the park. She wore it today because of yesterday. But I say to myself, you know what? I'm going to apologize. Now, one of my friends, Sherry, says, why are you going to apologize? She wouldn't apologize, to you. And I said, because I want to foster a better environment here at the park. So I was on the phone with the vet. Ember's getting lab work tomorrow, $800 worth. Thank you, Randy Radar. But anyway, so I was I asked the vet if I could call them right back. So she walks by me with her MAGA hat. And I turn around and I say, excuse me, yesterday I was wrong and I apologize. Obviously, we have a difference of opinion about politics and, shouting at you across a parking lot or across a park is not something, that I'm proud of. And I apologize to you. And her son was there, the 14-year-old future mass shooter. And so I apologize to you and I apologize to your son. And she said, well, it seemed very personal. And I said, it wasn't. I said, it's just, all the Epstein stuff that's come out, it's obvious what's going on. And I'm very in tune with victims. And so I was angry. And so I apologized. And she goes, well, okay, apology accepted. And I said, okay. So I thought that was it, right? So then she goes, politics aside, can you lower your voice when you're here in the park? I said, excuse me? She goes, well, you make sexual jokes and sexual innuendo and nobody likes it. Everybody has complained to me about it. And my son is always like, when are you going to stand up to him? And I looked at her and I said, you called me a pedophile yesterday, so we obviously know what you think of gay people. And I said, I do not come out here and make hugely raunchy jokes. I might make a joke, if a ball is flying through the air saying, oh, I used to run after balls or whatever. But, I'm me. And I told her that. I said, look, I'm me. And if you don't like what I have to say as an out gay man, then go somewhere else. Well, you should just stop it. Everybody. And I looked at her and I go, are you aware you are lecturing me about sexual speak and how I shouldn't do it? And you voted for a man who literally said, I like to grab women in the pussy. Are you aware of that? Well, that's besides the point. We don't want to hear it. And I said, you know what? I stand by my apology for yesterday. I am sorry. I apologize to you and your son. But as for what you're saying today, you can fuck all the way off. And I turned and left. So that will teach me to try to be nice to MAGA. And I don't know why I was trying to be nice to MAGA. They're Nazis. They're white supremacist Nazis. And suddenly I thought taking the high ground with one was going to be the way to go. Well, silly me. That'll never happen again. And I think the Clintons are taking the high ground here. Look, Bill has some explaining to do. He does. He's in hot tubs. There's women with him. You know, he's a married man, a father, a former president. He's got a little explaining to do. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But he's got explaining to do to Hillary. That's who he really needs to explain to. You know, it's like the ex-wife of Jeff, is it Jeff Bezos' ex-wife? No, Melinda, it was Bill Gates' ex-wife. She said, look, he's got explaining to do, and I'm not in it.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
You know, and if you are MAGA and you are listening to me and you don't like being called a Nazi, then get out of the MAGA party. Okay? If you're a Catholic and you don't like that I call them the largest child rape ring in the world, get out of the Catholic Church. You know who I don't call Nazis? People who don't adopt Nazi slogans as their own. You know who I don't call Nazis? People that don't round up people and put them in internment camps. You know who I don't call Nazis? People that aren't for authoritarian rule of a dictator that is a white supremacist, anti-gay, that wants to put anyone different into camps. That's who I don't call Nazis. But if it walks like a Nazi, talks like a Nazi, acts like a Nazi, prints slogans like Nazis, plays music like Nazis, on the ads for the DHS, on ads for ICE agents, they play a Nazi white supremacist song. This is the official DHS Twitter feed. An ad that they put out for ICE agents plays a white supremacist song played by American neo-Nazis. And if you don't like being called that, then get out of the fucking party. But don't blame me for calling you what you are. Okay? Americans have sat back long enough while modern age Nazis have tried to take over our country. And either we speak up now or we lose it. Either we not worry ourselves with their little feelers, or we lose our country to Nazis. Nazis change their names. It doesn't mean they're not Nazis. Oh, they get a kinder, gentler name, like MAGA. MAGA, M-A-G-A, Nazi, N-A-Z-I. Gee, I don't know, 4 letters. Sounds the same to me. And if you don't like it, get out of the party. You forget you're an American first. And Americans don't round up other Americans and put them in concentration camps because they might have some immigration problem. Americans don't take away other Americans' right to choose things like abortion. Americans don't go after other Americans because they happen to be trans. So you need to remember you're Americans first. Or you're a Nazi. Figure it out. It's up to you. It's your life. You figure out what you're going to be. But if I call you out for it, don't blame me. You're the Nazi. You're the one following a wannabe dictator and a party filled of white supremacists, haters, horrible individuals who hate trans people, who hate anyone that's ethnic, who are only milking our coffers dry, putting us in huge debt while they put billions in their own pockets, and round up actual Americans and put them in concentration camps. Funded by the taxpayers. So if you don't want to be a part of that, then don't be. Leave that party. Maybe you're not a bad person. Maybe you're just a person with strong views on immigration, or maybe you're just a person with strong views about 1 or 2 issues that MAGA appealed to you. Okay. Then you're a Republican. I don't call Republicans Nazis unless they side with MAGA. Marjorie Taylor Greene, in an interview this morning, called out MAGA for what it is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the former patron saint of MAGA, this morning said that they are a vicious, evil movement that is just funded by corporate greed, and that the only people in the movement that they care about are other rich people who can donate to their campaigns. They don't care about anybody else. Now that's from Marjorie Taylor Greene, not me. Okay? So if you don't want to be called that, if you don't want to be included in that, then leave MAGA. Just go to the Republican Party. But when it comes to America, MAGA is on the decline. It's in chaos. They're eating each other. Alex Jones is attacking Nick Fuentes, who is attacking Ben Shapiro, they're attacking each other. And I couldn't be happier. Anyway, enough of all that. Just enough. I've had enough. I really want to talk about something more important today. You know, as humans, we always look for a quick fix. That's what MAGA's about. We always look for that quick fix. And the GLP-1s that have come along, first of all, are groundbreaking. Okay, they are. And for people with diabetes and other serious conditions where their lives are literally, hanging in the balance, they're a lifesaver. They truly are. They help them regulate their insulin. They help them lose weight. They do all kinds of things. Okay, so I'm not anti-GLP-1. I'm not. But in terms of them being a good solution for weight loss in and of itself, if you have no other condition, I wanted to jump on board. I wanted to get some for myself. I did. But the more research I do you know that almost 100 people died from GLP-1s in the UK last year? And you're like, well, that's not that many. Look, I'm a guy who has suffered serious side effects from a shot, from the shingles vaccine. Gave me shingles, meningitis, put me in the hospital. My left calf muscle still moves. So you never care about the side effects that you hear up on the screen until you experience them. And if you are the family member of one of those 100 that died, and they simply died because they took a shot that they said was safe, then you would have a problem with GLP-1s. People across the globe are willing to risk their lives to be thin, to lose weight. And never have I seen a more wrong course for a movement than GLP-1s. We're on the wrong path with those drugs. When I saw Shaka Khan at the Grammys, I thought, oh, she's hitting the Ozempic. She had that Ozempic face. These drugs, first of all, are meant to be for life. For life. Can you imagine taking a shot once a week because you can't control your diet? And let's be clear here. I don't care what Oprah says. I don't. Oprah has lost her way on many issues of late. And she's all for the GLP-1s. That woman should have been thin her whole life if she really wanted to. She could afford a chef, a trainer, everything. Well, she couldn't quiet the food noise in her head. You know how you quiet the food noise in your head? Say no. Well, Karel, you're equating willpower. Yup. Look, I have 30 pounds to lose. And I qualify for Zepbound because I have sleep apnea. But I will not get it. And everyone's like, why don't you get Zepbound? Well, pancreas problems, pancreatitis, gallbladders having to be removed, intestines having to be removed, death, blindness, facial paralysis. These are all side effects of GLP-1s. And they want you to just forget about that. Well, just forget about that because you could be thin. So yesterday, I started doing what I should have been doing all along. I started logging all the food that I eat and seeing where the calories are. And a majority of my calories occur between breakfast and lunch. After lunch, I've probably eaten 1,500 calories already for the day, and I only get 1,800. So that doesn't leave much for dinner or snacks. And it's hard. Losing weight for a human is one of the hardest things that you can do because you are surrounded by unhealthy food, unhealthy lifestyle, by jobs that want you to give 8-10 hours a day to the job, not make time for food, not make time for cooking, not make time for exercise. By a life, an American life, that is not conducive to health. Stress, the stress of politics, the stress of 77 Nazis invading our country, just all kinds of stuff. Stress. And GLP-1s are giving people a way to lose weight, but in 10, 15 years, are we going to find out it was healthy? Are we going to find out that, we lost thousands of people over the years that didn't have to die because they took the shot? Worldwide, last year alone, over 3,500 people died from GLP-1s. Now, yeah, there were millions of prescriptions, but if you got on a plane and realized that in the last year, 3,500 people had died in plane crashes, would you get on the plane? Even though there's millions of people that fly every year, millions and millions. Would you get on a plane knowing that 3,500 a year died? You'd think twice about it. And so for me, I feel that we rushed it. We allowed people to dive in too fast to taking these shots every day. Or every week. I don't even know how often you take them. But we rushed it. There is no definitive science 10 years out about how many people ended up losing their pancreas, losing their having kidney failure, having liver problems, having their gallbladders removed, or dying. So look, are you willing to risk your life to be thin? Are you? Because if you are, then there's the Wegovy, there's the Ozempic, there it is. But I'm not willing to risk the side effects. Because what's the side effect of becoming a plant-based eater, watching your calories, and exercising more? What's the side effect of that? Health. No one's died from becoming a vegan. No one's died from doing a moderate amount of exercise. No one's died from counting their calories and then shutting their pie hole when they reach the number. But people have died from Wegovy, Ozempic, Zepbound, and all of them. So it's about risk versus reward. If you're diabetic and you weigh 400 pounds and you're having all these other diabetic issues, then yes, your life is already at stake. So these drugs are life-saving. And bravo, and yay science. But if you're someone that's just 40 or 50 pounds overweight and you don't have diabetes, the notion that you would take these drugs, and the notion that doctors are giving them out. Doctors are finding ways to give people with obesity these drugs if they don't have diabetes, if they don't have any metabolic syndromes. So they'll be thinner. Because in the doctor's mind, thinner is healthier. But that ain't true. We know plenty of unhealthy skinny people. And look what it does. Have you seen the Osbournes, Sharon and her daughter? Have you seen them? They look like Skeletor's family. I'm not saying you shouldn't take a GLP-1. I'm saying that there are other ways to lose weight, and they're hard. I lost 110 pounds, as you all know. And for me now to lose more weight, I have to eat even less. So if a person my size needs to lose weight, they eat about 1,800 calories a day. But because my metabolism reset after that weight loss, I need to eat between 1,500 and 1,600 calories a day to lose the same amount of weight. That's not much food. It's truly not. My breakfast alone is 700 calories, and I just eat oatmeal with homemade soy milk, some walnuts, craisins, and a cup of fruit. That's all I have for breakfast. And by the time you add in my drink that I drink right before the show, which is 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, chia seed, a tablespoon of chia seed, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, a tablespoon of psyllium husk fiber, and a scoop of protein powder. I drink that at 10 a.m. or 9:30. That is 300 calories, 270. So you add that into the breakfast, and I'm at like 850 calories before lunch. So that leaves about 400 for lunch and 400 for dinner. That's not many. And so I see why so many turn to the shot. It's hard. But just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And just because something's easier doesn't mean you shouldn't. What about you guys? Any of you battle the bulge? I know I do.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Yes, I agree with the chatters in the chat room. You know, the only real way that is safe to lose weight is cut back. First of all, exercise ain't going to do it for you. It ain't. You cannot exercise your way out of being fat, period. You cannot. That's a myth, and it's just not true. The only way that you can lose weight is to cut your caloric intake. But American food is not made for you to do that. Look at the Cheesecake Factory. Do you know the average meal at the Cheesecake Factory without dessert is 3,000 calories? The average meal without dessert, 3,000 calories. That's almost double what you're supposed to have in a day. A trip through the McDonald's drive-thru, a Big Mac, fries, and a soda. That's 1,000 to 1,100 calories. Processed foods are filled with calories, empty calories. There's no nutrition to them. And so the American diet has made it nearly impossible to lose weight. I admit it, it's hard. I'm trying and I know how to do it. But people want a quick fix. They want to take that shot, and in 6 months or 3 months or 4 months, they want all the weight to be gone. For some people, it's a godsend. For others, it is a death sentence. You know, we're so enamored with modern medicine fixing us. We forget that a lot of what breaks with us can be fixed without a prescription. We forget that food is medicine. You know, we forget that lifestyle changes are medicine. So we grab this prescription. You know, I have a friend that tried phentamine. They tried, what's the other one that they give to diabetics? Metformin. And yes, they lost some weight. But then, after they lost some weight, they realized that these drugs have side effects, so they've quit the drugs, and they're still losing weight because they saw the portions that they need to eat to lose weight. And they complain often that it's not much food, that it's about half of what Americans eat. When you sit down at a restaurant or dinner at your house, you probably should be eating about half, but you don't feel full. You know, feeling hungry is a natural state. When I lost 110 pounds, my stomach growled all the time. All throughout the day, my stomach growled because I was hungry, but I had eaten enough calories. So that was that. You would be amazed. Just start right. I have an app called Lose It, LOSEIT. It's available on all platforms. Download that app, Lose It, and start inputting. You can even scan the barcode of what you're eating. You can take a picture of your meal, and it will use AI to calculate the calories. Start keeping track of every single thing you eat, you'll be amazed how many calories. You'll be amazed. There's so many calories that you just don't even think about. Oh, I'll have a sandwich. I'll just put some pickle relish and some barbecue sauce on it. Yeah, well, there's like 80, 90 calories right there. Oh, I'll have an energy drink. Yeah, there's 300 calories. Oh, I'll have a protein bar. Yeah, there's another 250. And, exercise is great and you have to do it. But unless you're Michael Phelps or someone like that, you're not going to burn 1,000 calories in a day, no matter how much you exercise. It's all about food and food portions and keeping track, which is hard. Being human is not easy. It's not. Maintaining the human body, it takes work. It is not just, you don't have to think about it. Animals, they don't think about maintaining their bodies. They don't. A tiger doesn't think about getting fat because they don't eat as much as they should, to get fat. And they exercise quite a bit, but they don't think about it. We have to think about it because of modern culture, because of the crap that the food industry feeds us. And so we get the shot, and suddenly the shot's making everyone around us just melt away. And we're like, I want that. I want to do that. I don't want to have to work as hard as I do. I want a shot that quiets the noise. Yeah. And believe me, if I've become one of these people that are prone to side effects. So I won't take Zepbound. But God, if I wasn't prone to side effects, I might try it. I get it. It's hard to lose weight. How many of you find it one of the biggest challenges of your life, losing weight? How many? Leave your comments down below. How many of you have some weight to lose? 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20, 30, 40? I've got 30. I need to lose 30 pounds. And I hope y'all are going to encourage me in this battle because I'm finally fighting it. I started yesterday. I'm logging all of my calories. I'm exercising to a routine that I worked out with ChatGPT. And I'm going to hopefully drop 2 pounds a week. I hope. So in 4 months, I'll be where I'm supposed to be. But God, I like to eat. I like to eat. I like to bake. I like to cook. I do. And I eat good food. But you can't eat too much of it. Even if it's great food. I have a great snack. It's from Costco. It's just figs and walnuts. That's all it is. Ground up figs and walnuts. You can make it in your food processor. Just figs and walnuts. Now, there's nothing wrong with either of those two foods, but they're calorie dense. 2 of them are 120 calories, and they're little. So you can pop 2 of those in your mouth without even thinking about it. But that's 120 calories. Do you realize you have to walk or run almost a mile to burn off 120 calories? See, that's the other thing. People don't realize how few calories exercise actually burns. When I do energetic yoga, 30 minutes of energetic yoga, that's 200 calories. That's it. 30 minutes of energetic yoga, 200 calories. Not 2,000, not 800, 200. So it's not like I can go out to a buffet afterwards. So what about you all? I went low carb, high protein through Lindora and I lost weight, but it's not sustainable. You can't do that forever. You'll lose your pancreas or your gallbladder. You're not meant to eat high protein, low carb. Carbs are not the enemy. They're not bad. Another myth. Carbs are the enemy. They're not. Good carbs are good for you.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
You're right in the chat room. You can eat 1,000 calories in 15 minutes and it takes 2 hours to burn it off. DJ Valentino Rose is in the chat room. He has lost 20 pounds, I believe, or 30 pounds. And I'm so proud of him. I'm jealous. He's one of the reasons that I am starting in seriousness to go back to weight loss. He's wearing clothes that he hasn't worn in years. He looks fabulous. He's acting more like himself again. He's more vibrant, more energetic, happier, and he's wearing things, and he's getting into jewelry and other things, that he wasn't into before, because he looks and feels better. And now he's doing it all naturally. He did use some medication, not the shots, but now he's doing it all naturally because he learned portion size from the medications. Like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be eating, and he's doing an excellent job. Just kudos. Such an excellent job. And he's inspiring me. I'm like, well, if he took off 20, 30 pounds, so can you, bitch. So, you took off 110. It's not brain surgery. You know how to do this. And so I'm so proud of him. And he's an inspiration to me to continue on my weight loss or to start it over again. Because I want to fit into the clothes. I bought a bunch of jackets and things back when I was 185, 190. I don't fit into them right now. I spent hundreds on these fabulous coats, very Karel, and I can't button them because I gained a total of 30 pounds. I went down to 185 before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened. And between 2020 and 2022, I gained 30 pounds. So I went from 185 to 215. So is that 20 or 30? 85, 95, 205. Yeah, 30 pounds. It was easy to gain them during the pandemic. It has been a bitch to try to lose them. And now I have to be serious about it because I do have medical anxiety. And the only pressing thing wrong with me right now, other than the aorta growing and other than, the neurological stuff, the back and the neck, is obesity. And all of that, my aorta, my back, my neck, my pussy, my crack, it'll all get better if I lose. In other words, I'll be better physically, even though I won't be cured. I'll still be disabled, but I will feel better with 30 pounds gone. And so will you. And so I want you to use me and DJ Valentino Rose as an inspiration to get your nose back to the grindstone and start down your weight loss path. And the way that I want you to do that is download the app Lose It, L-O-S-E-I-T. There is a fee for the year. It's small. And start logging all of your calories. Yes, it's a pain, but do it. Because every bite you take, don't forget, I just had like 4 little almonds. Log them. See, that's my thing. I eat a lot of nuts, says the gay man. But I do. And nuts are high in calorie. I eat a lot, like a lot. I go through 5-6 pounds of nuts in 2 months. So yeah, I eat a lot. Walnuts, pralines or pecans, almonds for almond milk, cashews for cashew milk, and I eat a lot. I use nuts for a lot of things. And they have a lot of calories. Almond butter, almond butter on a Belvita. You get a Belvita and you put almond butter on top. Oh, heaven forbid. Yep. So yeah. So use me and use DJ Valentino Rose as an inspiration. He went up to my weight. He went up to 215. That's what I weigh now. And he went up there. And he's lost it. And he looks great. I'm jealous. He looks fabulous. I want to fit into my skinny jeans. Come gay pride season, June, July, I want to be a 34, not a 36. I was a medium to large when I was at 185. Shirt-wise, I was a medium to a large. This is an extra large, honey. What did Patti LaBelle once tell me? Well, I take a 4, but an 8 feels so good that I buy a 16. That's me, honey.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
Alrighty. Look, I'm not sorry at the beginning of this show that I equated MAGA to Nazis. I'm not. Because their party is behaving like that. They're behaving like white supremacists. They're putting people in concentration camps. You know, they're behaving that way. But I am upset that at myself for the direction the show has been going of late. Because you know what? We're so much more than that. You and I are so much more than that. And, you know, I want to talk to you about the things that are really important, like weight loss and the fact that you don't need the jab to do it. Now, look, if you're 500 pounds, if you're a patient to Dr. Nazarian, okay, Dr. Now, if any of you know who I mean, you know what I mean. Dr. Nazarian, Dr. Now, you have pre-eaten your calories for the next 4 years. He's vicious. He's vicious. But he's seeing people who are 500 and 600 pounds because the name of the show is My 600-Pound Life. So if you're up there, take the jab because you're headed for death. Like sooner than later. Your heart is your poor heart. So if that's where you are, take the jab. But if you're someone that just needs to lose, 30, 40, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, that sort of, well, 60 is a lot. God, I can't believe I lost 110 and I didn't take the jab. I weighed 310 pounds on my show Life in Segments. 310. That's still 90 pounds from where I'm at right now. Do you all remember me at that weight? I know Steve does. But do you guys remember me? Because you watched the show. You saw me, on KGO and everything. I was big. It's a moo-moo. I was large. Now, I'm 90 pounds down from that, and I'm still 30 to go. But the 30 is the hardest, and it's pot. I can't sleep without cannabis edibles. I can't. Don't try to tell me there's other things. Melatonin's bad for you. It'll give you a heart attack. I can't sleep without cannabis edibles. If I don't take them, I sleep like 2 or 3 hours. That's it. When I take them, I sleep 7 hours. All the way through. I don't even get up to pee. And I don't escalate. I take 2. One at 6:30, one at 6:45, and that's it. I haven't gone up to 3 or 4. I take 2. And I sleep all the way through. But I take them at 6:30 and 6:45. So come 9 o'clock, oh, bitches, I have the munchies. Oh, my God, do I have the munchies. Oh, my God. Oh. And unfortunately, I know how to cook. And so having the munchies when you know how to cook and you're high, bring on the oatmeal raisin cookies. Bring on the peanut butter pancakes, high protein, but still, and at 9 o'clock at night. So that's what I've had to really get a hold of. No eating past 6 o'clock at night. Because I go to bed at 9:30 or 10. So 4 hours before bedtime. So no eating past 6 or 6:30. And that's the hardest thing for me. Because come 7 or 8, I eat at 4:30 with Ember. Ember and I eat between 4:30 and 5. And so come 9 o'clock, I haven't eaten in 4 hours and the pot's in effect. Oh, I get ravenous. I remember when you were overweight, says Rachel, and the doctor told you that you wouldn't be able to walk in a year and you were crying. Yes. That was me. Yeah, wow, Rachel, good memory. Yeah. Yep. Good for you. God, I forgot about that. Oh my God. I'm going to cry. Oh. God, I remember that. I was so sick. I wasted so much of my life being sick and drugged on OxyContin. I hate that I was on Oxy for 20 years. 20 years. 20 fucking years. 20 years. Do you know how many hydrocodone or OxyContin that is over 20 years? 20 years. I wasted my 40s on OxyContin, grief, and Devon. And wasted my 30s on alcohol and fame, trying to be famous. Oh, don't make me cry, y'all. Don't make me cry. Rachel, you're going to make me cry. Because I was so sick. And I was sick in public. I was doing television, I was doing radio, and I was dying right in front of everybody. Except I didn't see it. I couldn't see that I was dying. But I was. I was on 7 medications. My heart was out of rhythm all the time, and I just took a Valium. I took the drugs for the heart rhythm, but if it didn't go back into rhythm, I just took a Valium. Didn't give me the anxiety of having an abnormal heart rate. I never once thought about, you need to change your life. And it wasn't until I saw the episode of Life in Segments, which is at my website at youtube.com/Willie Karel, the episode with Randy Harrison, where I wanted to be so cute for this gay guy from Queer as Folk. And I was sweating. I had to take off my shirt for the interview. It was drenched. I was just dripping. I was crying. I used to ask Steve. I used to cry 10 times a day. And we found out it was low testosterone caused by the OxyContin. So I went through detox in 5 days. Oh, I don't recommend it. It was horrible. I went through detox and then became a vegan the next week. Now here I am. No opiates, no meat and dairy, yelling at people at the park. God, someone commented very negatively about the show yesterday, and they told me why I'm a failure. They were like, oh, you're a failure because all you do is talk about yourself and you're do this, that. Oh, they just went on. Edmund something or other was his name. I deleted the comment because I don't need to read it. But, those kinds of personal attacks bring me back to when I really was that sick. And it's sad. I hope none of you are going through what I went through. I hope none of you right now in your life feel like you're dying. Because it's a terrible way to live. It really is. It's terrible. Thank you for sticking with me through it, though. So, I was listening to Steph Miller this morning. 2 things I want to talk about more today. First, I'm screaming a lot these days because I don't understand. And it's driving me literally crazy. With the release of the Epstein files, I don't understand how Donald Trump is still the president. I don't get it. He is mentioned over 50,000 times. He no longer can say he didn't know or he didn't do anything. You can't be mentioned 50,000 times in a pedophile's documents and not be, he's involved with a sex trafficker. Bill Gates this morning, I wish I had never been. Yeah, because you got caught, fucker. These rich, powerful white men who prayed. No one is talking about the victims and how terrible their lives are and have been because of these rich white men. The things that are in these files, oh, well, they're not credible. The 13-year-old that said Trump raped them, that's not credible. What 13-year-old makes up a story about Donald Trump raping them? Why don't we believe her? Why aren't there 1 million people outside of the Washington, D.C. White House right now shutting it down until Congress impeaches him? Why isn't every named person in the Epstein files being brought up on charges? It's as if what they did to these girls wasn't that terrible. It's rape. It's statutory rape. And his followers are acting like it's not even a big deal. They screamed, release the files, release the files. Well, now they have. Not all of them. And now Trump says he's going to disobey the law and not release them. And I don't get it. I don't get how anyone can condone that. How could anyone still follow a man that is named 50,000 times in the Epstein files? I don't get it. Why are there not riots? Why are there not millions of, not riots, protest? Why aren't there a million people marching on Washington? I don't get it. Why have Americans become this lazy, complacent people who are watching their country slip into dictatorship and with a whimper? I don't get it. Why do we tolerate in polite society racist, white supremacist, transphobic, homophobic people who claim to be Christian? Why do we tolerate that? I don't understand. I don't get it. And that's why I've been shouting a lot lately. Because I don't get it. I don't get it. And we're doing so many things that are just not in our best interest. You know, after I binged watched Monarch: Legacy of Monsters season 2, the first 6 episodes, which they gave to the press, and I cannot tell you about them because they're embargoed. But Monarch: Legacy of Monsters is the best show on TV. It's on Apple TV Plus. The first season's there already. The second season is coming. Kurt Russell's in it. Godzilla's in it. King Kong is in it. I mean, it's an incredible show. Incredible. After I watched it, I watched Megan 2.0, which wasn't as bad as everybody said, by the way. And in it, they equate technology for children to cocaine. They say the line, you wouldn't give your children cocaine, but you give them a cell phone. So I researched that and said, is a cell phone as bad for children as cocaine? And every single piece of science says yes. Cell phones do to children and adults what drugs do. They elicit a dopamine response in the brain that cocaine and heroin do. So phones and iPads are literally called digital drugs. We are a nation of addicts. Anyone that says they're not an addict that is tied to their phone, they're addicts. And we know that phones and pads are bad for us. We know they are. The science is clear. And yet we're all still incorporating them into every aspect of our life. That's why I've been yelling a lot. I don't understand, as the planet is destroying us, as it's killing us. All we seem to be doing is overeating, being obese, not exercising, and looking for a drug to fix that. And then when it comes to government, we have people in government that should not be in government because they're named in a sexual trafficker's, trove of files. They're neo-Nazi fascist, and yet they're in power and people back them and support them while we ignore climate change, increase oil production, give our kids phones and tablets to amuse themselves so we don't have to parent them. Raising kids who can't read, can't write, can't do math, can't do social. Today is Rosa Parks' birthday. I said this at the park, and there were some younger people in their 20s and 30s. And they said, oh, who is she? Does she come here? And I looked at them and I said, who is Rosa Parks? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, moved to the front of the bus, didn't want to sit in the back. They had no idea what I was talking about. None. And they're in their 20s. No idea that in 1913, Rosa Parks was born today. No idea. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I got the okay boomer. That's why I don't get it. We now revel in ignorance. People are proud of their ignorance. The more stupid they are, the prouder they are. I don't get it. We're making stars out of people who can't sing. We're handing Grammys to people because they've got TikTok views. We're saying that AI can replace actors and singers You know, we don't need humans to create art. We'll just create it with a computer. That's not art. It's soulless. There has to be a human behind it. I don't get it. You know, I don't get it. And so, yeah, that's why I've been yelling a lot of late. And I don't want to anymore. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be calling people Nazis, but I don't. I'm done with it. I'd rather leave the U.S. I would. I would rather leave and not be around these people. Anyone know a country where they're not? Anyone? Anyone know a country where I won't encounter extremists? Anybody? I'm all ears.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
You know, one of the things I did want to talk about today, we only got 7 minutes. I read that there's an alarming number of fatalities and accidents now because of e-scooters and e-bikes and those little scooters that, you know, they ride, those little electric scooters. People are, you know, broken bones. Older people are getting struck on sidewalks in San Francisco and other places. I've just been reading all about it. And it goes to what I'm talking about. These are not good for us. Okay, e-bikes, maybe. You know, for an adult, if you want it as an alternative to a car, and if you need to go greater distances than you would on a bicycle. Like my friend that moved to Portland, Daniel Amspaugh. He walks and rides his bike everywhere. He used to have a motorcycle, but he sold it. And he bought an e-bike. And he's very happy. But he goes 15, 20 miles on the e-bike. Okay, I get that. You know, you're going to go long distances. He doesn't ride it on the sidewalk. He doesn't go 80 miles an hour on it. So I understand e-bikes. I do. They have a place. But a 14-year-old on an e-bike that goes 60 miles an hour in a park? Yeah, no. And those stand-up scooters that they stand on, you know, going down the street at 40 miles an hour? Yeah, no. And we're just letting that proliferate. Sorry. We're just letting it proliferate. And they're not good for us. People aren't getting more exercise because of them. You know, they're not being healthier. They don't fit into a healthy lifestyle. So once again, we are doing something and accepting it that doesn't serve us. I don't understand it. We have a food system that doesn't serve us and leads us to a shot. We have a healthcare industry that is reliant on the food industry driving us there with heart disease and diabetes and everything else. And we don't fix that. We have a woefully broken government in the United States, and we're not fixing it. Democrats aren't fixing it. They caved on the budget. They funded ICE. You know, but we're going to talk about it over the next 2 weeks. While you're talking about ICE, ICE is harming Americans. The time for talk is over. It's time for action. But they won't act. And the same with the Epstein files. What more proof do you need? And this goes for Bill Clinton, who I like, by the way. But if he was having sex, now we know he's a philanderer. Okay, he was. It's not a shock to anyone that Bill Clinton slept around on Hillary. She chose to stay with him. That's on her. He had affairs with Monica Lewinsky and Jennifer Flowers and, you know, on down the list. So do I believe that he knew Epstein and got girls? Probably. I can only hope he had the good sense to make sure they were over 18. But if he didn't, if Bill Clinton had sex with underage girls, he should go to jail. And I like Bill Clinton. But you can't give someone a pass just because you like them. Just like you can't go after someone just because you hate them. Going after Trump for the Epstein files isn't because I hate him. It's because he's in them. Okay, he's there. He's in the files. And his denials that he did nothing wrong, I don't believe them because he lies. We have documented evidence of thousands of lies that he has told. I am not calling him a liar unjustly. He lies. So I don't believe his denials. So why isn't there a bigger uproar? I don't get it. Yesterday he said it's time to close the book. It's time to close the book and move on from the Epstein files. That's what he said yesterday. Tell that to the victims. That's all I can really say. Tell that to the victims. You know? Tell the victims it's time to move on. You know? So I don't think, you know, I don't know. Maybe Epstein gave Bill Clinton girls and said they were 18 and they weren't so he could blackmail them. I don't know. But I just know everybody knew what that man was doing. Nobody didn't know. For Bill Gates to say, oh, I didn't know, that's bullshit. Everybody knew that's what he was doing. Everybody. And if you were in his world and you were his friend, it's because you were participating. You know who's not in the Epstein files? People who don't sleep with underage girls. I'm not in them. None of you are in them. My friend Steve's not in them. You know, my friends at the park aren't in them. Barack Obama's not in them. Joe Biden's not in them. George Bush isn't in them. You know, Jimmy Carter wasn't in them. I could think of a whole bunch of people that aren't in them. Republicans and Democrats. A ton of people. Mitt Romney, not in them. You know? What's his name? Lindsey Graham. Not in them. Because he was too busy with boys, in my opinion. You know? And he should just come out. I don't know why he thinks it's, you know, just come out. It's no big deal. Only Nicki Minaj thinks it's a bad thing to be gay. Oh, and the lady at the park who this morning told me that I should keep my gay jokes and gay innuendos to myself. You know, I mean, I don't get America right now. That's my biggest problem. But I never have. I don't get people that call themselves Christians hating me my whole life for being gay. Because if there is a God, he made me this fabulous. Okay? She. If there is a God, she made me this fabulous. So I don't understand. I don't get the American people right now. We are suffering financially. All of us are. Got depressed yesterday because my postman said that he just invested $80,000 in this stock thing with this guy, and he's making 10% of that back a month. So he's making $8 to $10 grand a month because his wife put in 50. So they put in 130 grand. She was a teacher and he's a postman. Where the fuck did they get 130 grand? Ugh. And I don't have it. That made me feel bad. Like, well, you should have been a postman. I am Karel. You be who you want to be, so I don't hurt anybody. I'll be back tomorrow. No Nazi talk tomorrow. No MAGA. Tomorrow's going to be a MAGA-free show unless something really terrible happens. But outside of that, tomorrow, no Trump, no MAGA. A Trump-free day tomorrow. No, none.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear.